folks, welcome to race number 3 of Race to Zero Hour. It's the rerun of the Mexico race after a disastrous lobby last time around. We're hoping for good things this time. We're redoing the entire thing, shock qualifying onwards itself. As we head into shock qualifying, it's Sarthak here alongside Gouts as always, and we've answered the question of what to look out for in Mexico. Probably remember what went down last time around out on track. Guts, here with me. How you been, man?
Hey Sarthak, been good. Good to be back as always. And a rerun of Mexico. A rerun is something you usually don't want to see, but unfortunately, because of circumstances, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
And we've already seen who's got the pace, and some of those drivers, of course, aren't taking part in today's race. So let's wait and see. Maybe perhaps a new winner in RTZH, new podium sitter. Gonna be a lot of surprises today, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best out there. Unfortunately, only 12 drivers out on track. Maybe we'll see more. We did see a few join in last minute as we see a couple of the cars coming out of the pits as we speak. I saw an Alpine, Ferrari and an Aston Martin coming in almost formation drive.
Oh yes, Sarthak. People have already started leaving the pits. That's a good sign of confidence from them, I'd say. So we see another Alpine and a Williams coming out. And there you go, Mr. UK himself is out on track now.
And I'm on board Streeter, who's coming out on track right behind the likes of Mr. Wex. We've seen a good showing from Mr. Wex. He's been on the podium of both the races so far in the Race to Zero Hour. Maybe it's third time's the charm as well for him, considering it is a rerun. It's an opportunity for him to get on the podium yet again.
Definitely. I mean, Mr. Wex has been doing quite well since the first race of RTZH this season. And big expectations. Let's see how it goes. Let's not expect too much, because expectations usually lead to disappointment. So
fair enough. But another driver, a well-known driver in the Bwoah Racing Leagues, coming out of the pits now. His first race in Race to Zero Hour this time around. It's Big Man Joe out on track.
Big Man Joe, what can I say? The prodigal son returns. Then again, Big Man Joe has taken a long break from the F1 game. So again, like I said, high expectations will lead to disappointment. So let's not expect too much from Big Man Joe today, since he hasn't really touched the game in a really long time. And I'm sure he'll need a few days to get to grips with the game. But then again, if he does get a great result today, it's going to be something special, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. With the likes of Abi, NV, Derp out on track, it's all to play for. Like I always like to say, just over 15 minutes left to shock qualifying. Of course, the significant incident that caused us, that pushed us to have a rerun, is that of Andres, where he got taken out by the likes of UT on the safety car after a game glitch. So I'm looking forward to see Andre do a pretty good job out on track. Right now, we've got pretty much 11 drivers out on track on fast laps of their own. Let's stay on board NV and let's see what kind of lap he puts on the board.
Definitely. And as you say that, NV sets a purple sector there. And I think from what we saw in the previous race, I think the same times will stick. 116s was it, Sarthak? 115s, 116s? Is that what we saw?
Exactly.
The last time around?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the fastest will be around a 1. Oh, and Big Man Joe retired. Oh, and it was on track.
Oh.
Well.
Oh yeah, sector 1.
And I think if we write about Baby Shumi, we might be Baby Shumi's. Oh,
Sicknick. Oh, he's in the middle of the track. No front wing. It didn't look like he had a front wing at least.
Oh, that's just sad.
Yeah, unfortunate.
So there you go. I think then again, Big Man Joe does enjoy starting from the back as well. So you just got to wait and see what he can pull out of the hat today.
Yeah, of course. Let's continue to stay on board Sicknick. He's on fast lap himself, going through sector 2 as we speak. Doesn't seem like the games realized that the car's been cleared. But Streeter with the quickest lap out on track, 1 minute 15.734. Abi close behind. Still not seen a lap time from the likes of Derp and Andre, so looking forward to that more than ever.
Absolutely, Sarthak. I mean, we already know Derp is already proved to be one of the best in the Bwoah Racing League itself, and so we know he's not short of pace. We know he's very quick. And Andre, in the last few RTZH races and BRL races itself, has proved to be very quick in quali, but it's been quite unfortunate during the races that he's been involved in other incidents or spinning out. So let's see what he can pull. I mean, he just set a fastest first sector, as I said that, and let's see what he can do. And Derp has invalidated his lap, or I think he's on his in lap. He's going back into the pits, right?
And Abi seems to have started a fast lap. Now, the thing about Mexico, I remember you mentioning it before as well, on how you're not a huge fan of Sector 3, I believe. Am I right?
So it's not about me not being a big fan of it, but if you've noticed, Sarthak, a majority of the penalties that the drivers get, typically in sectors 2 and 3, because of the number of fast corners, and a lot of corners you kind of have to drive at the edge.
Okay.
So it becomes really hard to stay within track limits times like those. So that way a lot of drivers pick up a lot of penalties, and that is typically what causes a big disadvantage in Mexico. If you're someone who rakes up a lot of penalties, then you're going to get a very bad result in Mexico.
All right. Yeah, and as we can remember, the first outing for this race last time around, we actually saw all the drivers but a mere 2 drivers without penalties. Am I right?
Exactly. I think it was RB Ferrello and Streeter, or Abi. I think it was RB Ferrello and Abi who were without the penalties in the previous race. So let's see. I mean, RB Ferrello isn't here today, but Abi is. And Big Man Joe has a reputation of being extremely clean when it comes to penalties. So I'm sure he'll be able to, keep it clean as well, hopefully.
Yeah, with just over 11 minutes for short qualifying. Yeah, did you catch something?
No, I was just looking to see. Yeah, I think Envy's on a hot lap right now, and there is Mr. Vex behind him. Following, I think he's on a hot lap as well.
No, Envy's on an out lap by the looks of it. Sicknig might just be heading into the pits by the looks of the map itself. So Envy's on an out lap, looking real pacey, and he spins and he loses the front right. That's the end of the session for Envy. Short-lived, and Sector 2 lights up yellow.
Sad. Yeah, I think Mr. Vex will be approaching Envy's car anytime now.
Yeah, we actually rode on board Envy, and we got that first hand. Unfortunately, on the right-hand side of your screens, and Mr. Vex surprisingly goes wide. I wonder if he thought the track went that way. But yeah, he's on an out lap. He'll be starting a fast lap soon enough. That car will get cleared, and we've had 2 retirements in qualifying already.
Yeah, I think knowing Mr. Vex, he just wanted to give us a good view of Envy's car. I wouldn't be surprised.
Doing production a favor. Thank you, Mr. Vex.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, folks,
not many cars on track right now, though.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
we've got people getting out of the pits now.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of drivers in chat, like SV11, KDB, and Freeze. Make sure you guys drop in chat. Who do you think is going to come out on top at the end of the qualifying session? Who do you think, Guts? Want to wager a prediction
honestly,
or 2?
Well, if this was about maybe 4 minutes ago, I would have said Envy, but seeing that he isn't here anymore, I'd say perhaps UK or Streeter on pole. Most probable, at least that's what I feel is most probable looking at everyone's pace. Or Derp even. Derp hasn't set a lap time yet.
Alright.
So between these 3, I think one of them is going to end up on pole.
I think Derp did the same thing last time around as well. He waited till the very end before setting a lap time, or he actually didn't end up setting a lap time at all. But right now we stay on board Mr. Vex, and to your prediction, UK 6th fastest out on track, while Streeter's got provisional pole already. 9 minutes left to short qualifying, And pretty much all drivers apart from Derp have set a lap time already. Mr. Wex seemed incredibly quick in Sector 1, quicker than his previous lap time. So he'll be hoping to jump up more than just one position at the end of this lap.
Yes, definitely. And as you were speaking, Derp just set a purple second sector, approaching the final corner, and let's see what lap time he can cook up.
Yeah,
Derp approaching the line, and there you go, P1 Derp. So, out of the 3 people I predicted to be on pole, 2 are in P1 and P2. Let's go.
UK seems to have reconnected back, so we can hope for good lap times out of him. Mr. Wex did go 7th fastest until Derp climbed up all the way from dead last to provisional pole. So Mr. Wex now currently 8th fastest yet again. Envy's lap time still holds good for 6th fastest, scouts.
And on the mediums, that too. I mean, it's no joke. He's set a pretty fast lap time on the mediums. And it doesn't look like the cars below are improving by that much to be able to beat that lap time. Then again, I think the competition at the top is quite intense. Andre in P3, which is not bad. Abhi in P4 and Siknig in P5. Oh, and Mr. Wex invalidates his lap yet again. So he won't be able to set a lap.
Unfortunate for him.
Oh, and yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah, meanwhile, Andre seems to have gone slower in Sector 1. I expected a little quicker time from him. B, however, he's going through Sector 1. Let's see what kind of lap, how well he does Sector 1 in specific. 7 minutes left to shock qualifying. And we've got 2 retirements so far. For those of you joining in, this is race to 0R right after shock qualifying. We head into a 25% race distance race. And, of course, Dinara 1-up goes a bit more quicker. He's 8th fastest currently, quicker than Vex.
Definitely Sarthak. Sarthak, if I could be given a minute, I'm facing a small issue with the game.
No problem. No problem. Nothing new. Everybody will agree with me on that. I think Vex will throw, says Srivatsan in chat. Well, we'll find out. He's starting. He's probably going to end up starting in the back of the pack alongside his buddies, Baby Shumi, as well as Big Man Joe, perhaps. Let's stay on board Siknig. He's quicker in Sector 2. Make sure he gets the apex going through Sector 3 as well. And he was actually putting quite a bit of work throughout the day today for this race. So you can expect great things from Siknig. A podium, perhaps, as he dives into the pits. Stay on board. UK was invalidated his lap. Bound to start a quicker one, as he does on the main straight.
Oh, and Freeze in chat says Vex was in his in lap. So he did not invalidate his hot lap, but apparently was on his in lap.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Another one of your predictions might just end up turning out right, girls. UK is on a fast lap. He just started one on a fresh set of softs.
Doesn't set a purple Sector 1, so far doesn't look like he'll better Derp's time, at least at the moment, but let's see how quick his Sectors 2 and 3 will be.
The top 3 just might be in his view. Only 3 cars out on track setting fast lap times. 5 minutes left to shock qualifying. The rest of the boys are sitting in the garage, and I think...
and UK invalidate.
Yeah. That left-hander is where... Yeah, the left-hander is where everything went wrong for him. I don't think he'll be too glad about that. I don't think anyone could be, especially when he's trying to get out of that bottom half of the table.
Very true. I mean, that's... I think UK will be doing another lap though. Lower fuel this time, obviously. So let's see if... as most of his fuel was probably burnt on the previous lap. So let's see if he can actually set a better lap time now.
Yeah, in the previous lap he was 600ths quicker. But yeah, he needs to do quite a bit. If he was 600ths quicker, that would have put him 6th fastest on the board if that lap counted. So he would have been in front of when we come the race. But right now he's still behind. 4 minutes left to shock qualifying. 1 minute 15.506 is the time to beat. Set by Derp. Andre close behind.
And Yeah, Andre's less than a tenth behind just about 500ths, actually. 540 milliseconds behind up, so not bad at all. Both of them doing well. Both of them also among the youngest drivers in the BRL itself.
And
Let's see how.
the friendly competition continues, even in chat for that matter. 3.5 minutes left, Guts. By the looks of it, I know at race start last time around, we had absolute chaos in the grid. Some of them barely got out of their grid boxes for that matter. Barely made it to turn 1. This time around, definitely not going to be a similar situation considering only 12 drivers out on track. We had Vex parked on his grid box last time around. We had UK on pole as well, something to point out last time around. So a lot of
last race.
Yeah.
I don't think UK raced the last race, did he?
oh,
UK was not present in the previous race.
okay. That means this is me.
Envy was on pole start, if
Okay.
you remember. Envy was
Apologies.
on pole, he won the race and set the fastest lap,
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, my head's still in race 2, China,
Of course.
unfortunately. Yeah, where UK was parked on his grid box. So yeah, anyway, Mr. Wex was parked on his grid box this time, last time around in Mexico at least. Hopefully that we don't see a repeat of that. I mean, definitely, I like to think we won't. And who knows, maybe we'll have a good race start 3 abreast into turn 1. What's to say it won't happen?
Oh, that'll be exciting to watch. Taking the lead into turn 1. Which one of these drivers gonna lead from beginning to end? Belgium was a fun race to watch because Abi from P7 to P1 into turn 1. So that's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of performances on lap 1 you always enjoy watching. I'm pretty sure 8 of you all watching. Stay tuned for the race soon enough. Just under 2 minutes left to short qualifying. Sicknick's lap time, who we've been on board for a while now, hasn't improved. He's still 6th fastest out on track. Nothing's changed in terms of standings apart from UK being 4th fastest, quicker than Abi. Let's see what kind of lap time Andre can pick out here. Hopefully he can beat that lap. He'll be looking to, I'm sure, as a sim racer, looking to beat that lap time of Derps. And Mr. Wex retires in the pits.
Yes, looks like it. Yeah, he does retire in the pits. He does retire in the pits because I do not see a stationary car on track. So he definitely has retired in the pits, and I think Andre gave up on his previous hot lap because he wanted to start another one. So going really slow through sectors 2 and 3 and now approaching the final corner where he will start a fresh hot lap.
We've had a retirement meanwhile, Gods. Assassin next. He's parked on the left-hand side of the track in Sector 1. I'm not sure if that's voluntarily, but regardless, his lap time earns him 11th fastest on the grid. He'll be starting alongside Big Man Joe at the back of the pack.
Oh yes, Assassin next, another interesting prospect to look out for. Someone really new to the game and new to sim racing itself. And there you go, Streeter sets fastest lap time for now. Once again.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I saw Derp do a quicker Sector 2, so I won't be surprised if this is or even more quicker lap from the likes of Derp. He messed up the exit at Sector 3, and it's not a quicker lap time. He starts another quick lap. Andre as well spins, and it's a front wing gone for Andre, and probably his hopes at pole as well. UK gets disqualified from the session.
I think UK got disconnected, so I think his AI parked on track and got disqualified. And in the meantime, Baby Shumi as well has retired from session. You'll be able to see him on Andres POV. He's stuck in the middle of the track. Oh my god, a lot of drama happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult to keep up, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, exactly. With 12 cars out on track, who would have thought you'd have so much drama in qualifying? Streeter's trying to cut corners and make sure he starts another quick lap, I would have said, but seems like qualifying has ended. So these are your qualifying standings, unless Derp seems to be on a fast lap, but he's actually gone slower in Sector 2 in fact. So I don't see him bettering his lap time unless he did a stellar Sector 1. He's invalidated his lap time.
Yeah, he's invalidated his lap time, so he'll be going into the pits now.
Which means he starts on the front row, but not good enough for pole. It's Streeter on pole position as he heads into the pits, and on to the race we go.
Once again, Streeter on pole. Let's go, Streeter. Good stuff. And Derp in P2, Andre in P3, Abhi and Dinara one up. I don't think anybody else have enough time to... Yeah, nobody else is on track either. So, yeah, these will be the final qualifying positions, and this is what the grid positions will be when the drivers start racing.
Yeah, a significant driver we've missed out on, I think, has been in the top 5 considerably, at least in the race 0R, is Abhi, right? He's been right up there. I think in race 1 he was on the podium, race 2 he was in the top 5 if I remember correctly, if he started, and race 3 he finds himself qualifying on the second row, so maybe we'll see great things from him as well. Dinara one up, 5th fastest. That's his best qualifying yet in race to 0R, I'm sure.
Oh, true. And Dinara one up has not really disappointed us. I mean, he's been quite consistent in the last few races. He's been battling in the top 5, top 7, if I'm not wrong. Yep. And he's been showing quite some pace during the race.
Hopefully we'll get to see that out in Mexico as well. Looking forward to the back of the pack. UK starts alongside a big man Joe, so Assassin X gets a jump in the grid boxes, and soon enough we'll head straight to the race. Derp and Andre wheel to wheel into turn 1. That's my prediction, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see what happens, and I think Derp mentions in chat that he's got to go anyway, so I don't know if he'll really be taking part in the race.
Unfortunate.
And how will it go? Okay, perhaps he has left the session because his name it seems to be loading. Yeah. So anyway, Sarthak, looking forward to another exciting race despite there being a lot less drivers than last time.
10 drivers is still a grid, quite the grid. When you have the likes of Big Man Joe, Baby Shumi, Envy, Streeter, Dinara one up, and hopefully we'll get to see some incredible racing out on track. Hopefully, I don't see why big gaps will develop between drivers, but then again it's Mexico, so expect it. Meanwhile, 11 of y'all watching, make sure you drop in the chat who do you think will come out in front of the rest of the drivers into turn 1.
Yes, and as we can see, Sarthak, it's a completely dry race as well. So weather's not going to give us any surprises today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have been disappointed if it was a few months ago, but I've made my peace with watching dry races. Formation lap to start off with. Go ahead. You were mentioning something.
Yeah. No. I was just mentioning, I mean, Envy, I think, being the only one on the medium tires, if I'm not wrong. Let me switch
Big Man Joe.
Tires. Oh, Big Man Joe. Okay, so I thought Envy was on the mediums when he set his lap time. Was he not?
Yeah, it did seem like it. Surprisingly enough, he's on the softs now. I'm
not really sure what happened there. Perhaps he set his lap time on the softs, and perhaps he was setting his lap time on the mediums. When he DNF'd. So yeah, that could be a possibility. So there you go, Big Man Joe, the only driver on the grid, starting on the mediums, someone who's known to be a fan of the alternate strategy. Something I'd like to say I have picked up on in recent times. Let's see how it goes. Seeing that Derp will be absent. His car is ghosted, so he will not be racing. It's gonna be Andre versus Streeter into turn 1, assuming Andre gets a good start.
Yeah, and at the back of the pack, even UK might not be starting. It doesn't look like he will be. Let me quickly ensure.
Okay, so something to point out there. I think during the formation lap, you cannot take control of your car.
Oh, yeah.
So I think as soon as his car is positioned on the grid, as soon as the lights go out, in fact, he'll be given control of his car, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, great. Yep, 18 laps of racing. We had around 3 safety cars last time out, and we'd had to do the whole race all over again, qualifying included. And I'm looking forward to a nice, clean race this time around. Good wheel-to-wheel racing, wheel-to-wheel action from the likes of Baby Shumi, a climber, as I'd like to say. Even Big Man Joe from the back of the pack all the way to the front. Andre finds himself in an opportunistic position of picking off the race lead if he plays his cards right. Derp isn't a competitor anymore in the race. Streeter lines up on his grid box, and so does the rest of the drivers on theirs. I'm looking forward to this, Gots.
Absolutely, Sarthak. Looking forward to this, and let's go.
Alright, 5 lights, you can see it. Come on, Streeters on pole position, and away they go. And that's a brilliant start from the likes of the second row. Turns out it's just the way you said it, Gots. Andre's on the gearbox of Streeter already.
A lot of drama. Sicknig, Envy, and oh my god, they've spun around. There was contact in the midfield, and a lot of drivers have received damage. UK starting late. I think his start was delayed. Sicknig and Envy got caught up in a bit of an incident and they spun around. But fortunately, there are no DNFs, Sarthak. Just a lot of damage.
Yeah, but up in front, it was almost 3 abreast into turn 1. And right now, the Alpines out on track are fighting. It's Abhi versus Streeter, and I think there was contact. And Streeter finds himself down in P3. Andre has taken the race lead, and Baby Shumi is up in a P4. Meanwhile, Big Man Joe is battling it out in the midfield, trying to make his way up the order as well.
Oh, definitely. If I'm not wrong, I think Big Man Joe may have sustained a little damage as well. I'm not sure if he was caught up in that incident, but it did, because the way his car seems to be moving, he seems to be missing a lot of... I'm not really sure, but let's see how it progresses. If he pits, then he's probably got damage. And if not, he will continue. Sicknig and Envy at the back, again, I think they will definitely be pitting as they have major damage.
Yeah,
Envy is struggling.
Yeah, Andre sets the fastest lap time out on track, and it's Mr. Wex on Dinara on the main straight. He's trying to get slipstream as much as he can. Tries to lines up alongside Dinara, but will have to hold back. DRS, once the DRS comes on, he should be able to make the move stick, or will he be adamant on getting it done even before that?
Not sure about that. But as we watch that, yeah, 3 drivers have pit. I think UK seems to have had a problem as well at race start, which is why he's pitting. Must have also been involved in the incident. And up in front, yes, as you mentioned it, Mr. Wex is very close behind Dinara 1 up, battling quite closely. And I think the previous race as well, we saw the 2 of them battle in Mexico itself. We did see the 2 of them battling quite a bit.
And at the back of the pack, I think we can quickly divert our attention, but Baby Shumi goes wide. Mr. Wex taking an unconventional line. I'm looking at that gap between Envy and Sicknig within half a second of each other. And I think Envy is getting ready to make a move, but he doesn't seem to have what he needs. Or will he attempt to dive down the inside? No, he holds back. Now quickly back to Mr. Wex, who's just as close to the likes of Dinara.
Definitely, and something I'd like to mention, Andre has pulled out quite a lead already on Abhi. He's got over a second's lead on Abhi, so he seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah, it's all good for the likes of Andre up in front in the race lead, and Sicknig's got an Envy hot on his tail, and that gap's down to a 10th now as he tries to line up alongside him, has to hold back going into sector 3. Envy's gonna stay like this all the way to the main straight. That's where he'll have the opportunity to make the move stick.
Ooh, unless he lines up. No, yeah, that was opportunistic, but either way, he will have DRS on this straight, and he does seem to have had a better exit than Sicknig and a lot more battery as well. So looks like advantage Envy here, Sarthak, but there is no DRS. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah,
is it on the next lap?
Yeah, but let's switch to these 3 drivers. Wex goes completely wide, so it's just 2 drivers. Shumi's up in front, and down the inside he goes of Dinara. He's up a position, and Dinara comes back fighting. Mr. Wex is back in the mix. These 3 drivers are going to continue to fight. Big Man Joe closes in as well, with the likes of Assassin X to follow.
Very bold and very good move by Baby Shumi there. That was an excellent move, and he made it stick. But disadvantage Baby Shumi on the main straight, as Dinara 1-up will have DRS on him, and Mr. Wex has DRS on the 2 cars in front of him. Let's see how this goes, and Baby Shumi gets overtaken by Dinara 1-up and Mr. Wex. So Baby Shumi loses 2 positions in the span of a single corner, but they're battling it out here, and Mr. Wex and Baby Shumi touch a little and loses another position, Sarthak. A matter of 2 corners, and Baby Shumi's lost 3 positions there. So strategically, overtaking Dinara 1-up there on that previous straight wasn't the best of moves, given he'd lose DRS on the main straight.
Yeah, smart man Dinara got his way. He's running P4 and holds on, and it's back to Mr. Wex being on his gearbox. Big Man Joe closing in. Baby Shumi down to P7, and up in front, Streeter's trying to attempt to move on the likes of Abi. Soon enough, he's 3/10 now. Oh, it's developed into 4/10 now, the gap itself. But let's stay on this midfield battle. Mr. Wex closest to Dinara, just within half a second.
True that. And Streeter and Abi have swapped positions. I'm not sure if it's something they're discussing in the voice channel, or it was actually a move, because it was right behind the DRS straight. And Abi will have DRS on Streeter, but he's quite far behind to make the move.
Yeah, Dinara weaving incredibly, trying to deny that slipstream for Mr. Wex, but he lines up alongside, should have it even before turn 1, and will have it just like that, up in a P4. But Shumi trying to come on to Big Man Joe, won't have what it takes to get that position off of Big Man Joe just yet. Will have to stay behind him. Big Man Joe will want to stay within a second of Dinara. Big Man Joe going completely wide in sector 1.
Yeah. Big Man Joe taking a bit of advantage. Oh, there's yellow flags in the front.
Oh, that's Abi.
And Abi has spun out.
Yeah, that's Abi going down the order. He's ghosted as well. And he's down into P7.
Lost multiple positions in the process. Way behind though, Envy setting the fastest lap of the race, making that climb really quick. But then again, he's really far behind all of the action. So unless a safety car comes out, we will probably not see Envy getting the best of results, as he's on the soft tires, and they're definitely not going to have the pace until the end. Yeah. So very interesting to see what Envy is going to pull out this race.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it was Mr. Wex on Dinara last time around on the main straight. This time around, it might just be either Big Man Joe on Dinara or Baby Shumi on Big Man Joe. Seems like Big Man Joe has a better exit compared to Baby Shumi out of that final corner. He's closing in on the likes of Dinara, and so is Baby Shumi. Dinara weaves to the right-hand side of the track to deny Big Man Joe's slipstream. So I don't see position switching anytime soon. Meanwhile, Abi heads into the pits.
Yes, Abi heads into the pits. He will be coming out on a fresh set of mediums. And Big Man Joe, and so there's a bit of a DRS strain here, Sarthak. So Big Man Joe and Dinara and Baby Shumi on Big Man Joe. So it'll be really hard for Baby Shumi to get the move done on Big Man Joe, as Big Man Joe's got the DRS advantage as well. And if you notice, Big Man Joe's got a lot more battery than Baby Shumi, which Baby Shumi has in the last few races. As I've noticed, he's not really been a big conserver of his battery. And let's see how this pans out. I think Big Man Joe's getting quite close to Dinara 1-up. He needs to get close on this straight, and then perhaps he'll be able to make a move on the main straight.
We might just see that develop. Meanwhile, 3 drivers out on track with penalties, including Dinara, who we've got eyes on board Big Man Joe. I'm sure he's getting ready to line up a move. This is the shortest gap between drivers in the midfield. Up ahead, Andre leads this race comfortably with a 2.5 second gap to Streeter.
Absolutely, Sarthak. And Andre's got a very comfortable lead. That's very good to see. It's a new driver. Like I said, today we can perhaps expect a new driver on the podium or even winning the race. And Sicknig, as we say, that Sicknig gets a 3-second time penalty. And as I've already mentioned before, Sarthak, time penalties in Mexico can be a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, 2 clean drivers, of course, approaching one another, with Abi making that pass on Assassin X on the main straight, and Envy as well. We've not even come close to turn 1, and we've got drivers almost 3 abreast on the main straight, and on his gearbox right now, Abi has Envy. It's Envy, Abi, Assassin X into turn 1. They go down the inside, goes Envy. They stay wheel to wheel. Assassin X says, make some room, boys. I need to get in the mix as well.
Envy spins around and Envy loses his car again there. I think there was a bit of contact between Abhi and Envy. And Envy seems to have lost his car, Sarthak. So unfortunate. He had a horrible start, got caught up in an incident, and now he's down in last place after having a bit of a fight. He just cannot catch a break today, can he?
Yeah, while being on that battle, Andre has lost his race lead and he's going back for it as he dives down the inside of Streeter yet again and gets on to the racing line and is gonna retake the race lead. I wonder what went wrong there for Andre. By the looks of it, he didn't have any damaged end plates of sorts, so it looks good to go. He's back in the race lead and he's pulling away as well.
Definitely, that extra DRS advantage he had helps him on the second DRS straight. And yes, as you mentioned, I think perhaps he must have lost his car a little there, gone off track or something.
Oh, and it's a spinning Big Man Joe after going wheel to wheel with Dinara into the entrance of Sector 2. He's lost a position to Baby Shumi as well.
Oh my goodness, Big Man Joe there falling a few positions. Baby Shumi and Dinara one up, taking advantage of that, obviously. Good stuff by them. And Mr. Vex there driving his own race, Sarthak.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was bound to happen at a track like Mexico. We got virtual safety car in Sector 1. We got a retirement. It is. Exactly. And as we ride on board Baby Shumi, it's Dinara who had a terrible spin. He's lost his front wing in Sector 3. He just spun out on his own, so he'll be heading straight into the pits. Thank God for him. It's a virtual safety car, but so does Baby Shumi head into the pits. Streeter leads this race. Andre has gone into the pits as well for a change of tires. Streeter's in the pits as well. Vex, pretty much all the drivers are in the pits.
Perfect timing for the drivers to pit. So everyone's on equal ground here right now. They're all pitting at the same time. So let's see what happens. Of course, at this stage, it looks like advantage Big Man Joe as he's on the faster tires. His car, he will be a lot faster on the straights. And the corners, obviously. The soft tires have a lot more grip than the mediums and they heat up a lot. So on VSC restart, which is now, let's see what happens, Sarthak. Yeah. Andre has more than a second's lead on Streeter.
Yeah, and Streeter's got that time penalty, which he needs to be mindful of. Meanwhile, I just want the Sector 3 lights up yellow. What's happened there? That is UK in the entrance of the pit lane. He's fumbled, and it isn't his AI, it is him. He's gone into the pits and he's had an incident at the entry of the pit lane. Meanwhile, Envy is down in P11.
Definitely, he's had a bit of a bad race as well, hasn't he? UK has also been pretty unfortunate from race start with the disconnection first and then I think an incident at race start, so not looking good for him either. And I think the only thing that can save UK and Envy right now is a full safety car. Yeah. That could really spice things up. And in front, we've got big gaps between everyone. Andre pulling away from Streeter, doing quite well there. And Mr. Vex, like I mentioned, still driving his own race.
Yeah, he's gonna continue to drive his own race for a while, I'm sure. We're on lap number 10, the halfway point of this race. We got Andre leading this race after having a bit of a battle with Streeter at the initial parts of this race, as well as 2 laps ago. But yeah, the way it looks, it seems like Andre is set for a good race win. But then again, I don't want to jump the gun and predict anything. It ain't over unless it is over. We had quite the penalties racked up by Siknig and Dinara. Each one of them having 6 seconds as Dinara falls down the order. He's gone into the pits for a fresh set of softs.
Definitely, and at this rate, I mean, if knowing Envy's pace, I think, but then again, he's on very old softs, so it would be quite hard for him to catch up to the rest of the pack. But he is closing down the gap quite quickly to Dinara. I think, has Dinara had an incident, Sarthak?
No, he did head into the pits for a fresh set of tires. He's out on track on a fresh set of softs, so he did lose quite a bit of time, as you'd expect. And now huge gaps all around. The shortest gap being
huge gaps. Definitely, absolutely, Sarthak. I was just agreeing with you there. I was just going to say everyone driving their own races now. Everyone taking a page out of Mr. Vex's book.
And probably the closest drivers are Baby Shumi and Big Man Joe, with just over 1.5 seconds or so in that ballpark time. On lap number 11, one lap old sauce for Big Man Joe. I'm surprised that we are not seeing him climb just yet. I guess he's recharging his battery and getting ready for the last couple of laps, get some positions off of the drivers out on track.
Oh, absolutely. I think Big Man Joe just needs a little time. Like I said, Sarthak, he's coming back to the game after a really long time. So he's definitely going to be really excited. He's obviously going to take it easy. And as we speak, he's cutting down the gap to Baby Shumi quite quickly. He's just 8/10 behind Baby Shumi now. He's the only two cars within a second of each other, actually.
Yeah, we can expect a battle brewing soon as he gets DRS as well. This should help. And
definitely. And let me check with the race director. Let me see who else has a lot of warnings. And okay, a lot of drivers kept clean there so far. Not a lot of warnings.
Yeah, so sector 2 lights up yellow. That is a spun out Aston Martin. That is Sicknig. And he doesn't quite lose position considering that is Derp's AI. But that should cut down quite a bit of time till the likes of Dinara, who's closing in. He's now within a second of Sicknig. Now he's threatened for position.
Definitely, but he's got double the time. And he overtakes him before the... I think that was a strategic move by Sicknig, letting Dinara one up pass so he'll have DRS on the main straight.
Yeah, but
will this work out in his favor though, Sarthak?
Yeah, but he needs to stay within a second, doesn't he? No, he heads straight into the pits.
Pitting. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely now he's going to come out on a fresh set of softs, I'd imagine. Considering there's only 6 laps left. I just had a bit of data out on my screen. 6 positions made up by Mr. Wex and 6 positions to match by Big Man Joe.
Definitely. I mean, it's not surprising. We knew Big Man Joe would always climb really high from the start, and he has done so. And Mr. Wex as well, he's done quite a good job keeping it consistent there. No penalties. I don't think he has any warnings as well. He's kept it quite clean. Of course, he is a long way from P2 or P1, but then again, it's really good to see.
Yep. And at the exit of the final corner, Big Man Joe, ever so close to Baby Shumi, within a half a second of him right now, will have DRS as well. Baby Shumi weaves to the right, he weaves to the left. I don't think anything can stop Big Man Joe from getting the slipstream. He's got DRS as well. He made that pass look easy. 7 positions up now, Big Man Joe.
Quite a comfortable pass by Big Man Joe, considering Baby Shumi had absolutely no battery left at the time. So advantage Big Man Joe there, and he's already pulled out quite a lead on Baby Shumi, Sarthak.
Yeah, over a second already. Meanwhile, now the climb continues to Mr. Wex, who's up ahead. So that lonely race he's been driving, Mr. Wex, he's gonna have company soon enough.
Oh, and what company he's got, Sarthak. If you recall, the last time we saw these two battling it out on track, I think it was for the race win in Hockenheimring in season 3 of BRL, if I'm not wrong.
It has been a while, hasn't it? And both of these drivers currently out on track with the most positions made up this race. So to their credit, we're going to see one hell of a battle come lap 16 maybe.
Definitely, and Big Man Joe really cutting down time to Mr. Wex there in the 3rd sector. Not getting the best of exits on the final corner, but let's see how it goes. I mean, he is slowly catching up. Mr. Wex is out of battery completely, Sarthak. He's got just 3% to... So I think Big Man Joe is just waiting for a lap or two, save up a little battery and make the move on Mr. Wex, who doesn't seem to be saving up any... Oh, Mr. Wex spins! There you go.
That was rather easy for Big Man Joe. Up 8 positions now and into the podium positions goes Big Man Joe. Vex had a nasty spin. Now he's threatened for position by the likes of Baby Shumi, who's on his gearbox. Vex moves to the left hand side of the track. Down the inside goes Baby Shumi, and they'll stay wheel to wheel. Vex holds on to P4 that much longer.
Oh my goodness. And Baby Shumi overtakes Wex on the outside beyond track limits and gets back in. Streeter takes the race lead as Andre spins around, Sarthak. Andre has spun around but doesn't look like his car has any damage. Unfortunate for Andre, and that puts Big Man Joe as well in P3, contending for P2, Sarthak.
Yeah, and it's all going down on lap number 14. Streeter's gap to Andre is now over 9 seconds, with Andre having his hands full soon enough by the likes of Big Man Joe. And Baby Shumi has made that pass stick onto Mr. Wex. Mr. Wex, the gap to Baby Shumi has gone beyond half a second now, and I don't think it's going to reduce anytime soon.
Definitely, Sarthak. I mean, unfortunate to see Andre spinning there. It was almost redemption day for him because the last race ended for him very unfortunately, and there was nothing he could do, and he was taking the race lead here, perhaps going for the win. Was a perfect redemption race for him, but then again, P2 wouldn't be so bad if he finished there, would it?
Yeah.
He is pulling away from Big Man Joe quite quickly, though.
Exactly, but I think I need to correct myself. Because Mr. Wex now within 3/10 of Baby Shumi, it almost seemed like he was going to make a move on the main straight. But come Sector 3, I won't be surprised if he can get the move done on Baby Shumi yet again. Right now, that gap between Big Man Joe and Andre, the one to look for come the last lap, is at just over 1.5 seconds. And he's trying to keep it that way. Rather than hitting the 2 seconds mark or so. Meanwhile, this battle of Vex and Baby Shumi, don't think it's going to happen in Sector 3. It's the main straight yet again.
Ooh, and Big Man Joe picks up a time penalty. That doesn't help his chances to get into the top 2 at all, obviously. I mean, at this stage at least, it looks like Streeter's poised for quite a comfortable win.
Who would have thought on lap 15 things would take a turn against Andre. Unfortunately for him, Vex gets a nasty exit out of Sector 3, just what Baby Shumi would want, because on the main straight, that gap's going to extend to a second. Even though Vex has DRS, it's not going to be good enough to get the move done on Baby Shumi.
True, and adding on to Envy's disasters, he picks up another 3. He picks up his first 3-second time penalty as well. But then again, Vex has really gotten close to Baby Shumi now, and he will have DRS once again on Baby Shumi. Do you think he can make the move here, Sarthak? No, too far behind.
Yeah, lap 16 though. Come lap 18, say the final lap, we just might see a move. We were predicting a move on Vex from Big Man Joe on lap 16. Big Man Joe finds himself running the podium positions. Who would have thought? Meanwhile, UK gets a position up as Envy heads into the pits on lap number 16.
Yeah, so I think at this stage, Envy probably just wants to go for the fastest lap. UK hasn't, because I mean, Envy is not contending for the top few positions anyway, so I think he just wants to get the fastest lap at the moment. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it is racing. Everybody's got their highs and lows. So whatever satisfies them at the end of the race, we have to respect that.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Denaro has 12 seconds in time penalties, and so does Sickning. Unfortunate for the two drivers. Of course, Sickning, he's currently P11, but it's Mr. Wex around the outside of Baby Shumi on the main straight, and into turn 1 they go. They're going to stay wheel to wheel through the corner 1 and 2, and it's Mr. Wex ahead of Baby Shumi. But at the exit of the third corner, Baby Shumi might just have what it takes to take the fight to Mr. Wex. No, he doesn't. It's Mr. Wex who's got DRS, and he's going to hold firm on to P4.
Definitely. And to add to Baby Shumi's woes, while trying to defend that move from Mr. Wex, he cut the corner and picked up a 3-second time penalty. He was having a clean race so far, but that didn't help his chances. And Mr. Wex has a bit of a climb to do right now. If he can actually close that gap to Big Man Joe in a span of 1 lap to within 3 seconds, then Mr. Wex might actually have that podium, Sarthak. Speaking of closing gaps, I don't know if you've noticed, Sarthak, but when Andre spun around and Streeter took the lead, Andre was almost 10 seconds behind Streeter. Andre has closed in 4 seconds in the last 3 laps, Sarthak. Imagine if this was a longer race.
If only. If only. I'm pretty sure he would be hoping for that one. But it's not the case. And we begin the final lap with Andre running P2. Streeter, he's exiting corner number 2. And he's leading this race. Meanwhile, Baby Shumi and Mr. Wex. What's happening there? Mr. Wex has lost position. And he's down in a P5. Now it's Baby Shumi up in a P4.
Yes, I think Baby Shumi had DRS on the straight there, and Baby Shumi will have DRS once again. So this battle, Sarthak, is a race to the finish.
Looking forward for this one to see how this pans out. Dinara racks up yet another 3-second time penalty. I believe he pit for a fresh set of starts, so he's competing with his teammate for the day for that fastest lap. And as it stands, Streeter is into sector 3. So this time there, Andre picks up 3 seconds. Big Man Joe picks up another 3 seconds. Unfortunate there, and I just wonder how much of an impact it's got on the final race result. It's all to play for, but across the final corner, it's Streeter. What a race he's driven. He kept it as clean as he could. As he comes across the finish line, he wins in Mexico. And Andre, bittersweet, but it is what it is as he crosses the finish line, P2.
And picks up his first podium in the RTZH as well. Good job, Andre. And Big Man Joe picks up P3. And Baby Shumi will take P4. So the only switch in positions was Mr. Vex and Baby Shumi there. And UK DNFs? What happened? When did he DNF? Oh, he's DNF now. I think we'll be able to see that on Dinara 1-Up's POV.
Yeah,
Sarthak.
and mind you, Dinara's just set a purple sector 1, so we might just be riding on board the driver with the fastest lap come the finish line at the end of this lap.
Exactly. I think NV so far has set the fastest lap, and we can only wait and see what Dinara 1-Up can do right now. He seems to have put a really good first sector and, well, a slow second sector. I mean, a quicker second sector, but not a purple second sector. Let's see how his third sector, where his third sector places him in terms of the fastest lap.
As he comes across,
doesn't have the best of final corner exits, and there you go.
I think I did see UK after all on the main straight. He ended up crashing out on the right hand side of the track. Unfortunate for UK, but he does get a couple of points. I think P11 is his position, and of course Big Man Joe receives driver of the day for that incredible climb from all the way from the back of the pack to the front on the podium, in fact.
Absolutely, Sarthak. What a drive by Big Man Joe. What a drive by Mr. X, climbing a lot of positions there. Congratulations to Streeter, who's, I mean, this isn't his first race win in the RTZH. And congratulations to Andre for his very first podium in RTZH. And as I mentioned before the race, Sarthak, Big Man Joe on the podium in his return to RTZH. So the prodigal son does actually return.
Yep, indeed he does. Streeter, as well as, from what I remember, not Streeter, Andre picked up 3 seconds on the final lap, and so did Big Man Joe 3 seconds. To think that if there could have been a change in the podium itself if those penalties weren't received by the drivers. Who knows? It is what
Definitely,
it is.
Sir.
And he holds on to the fastest lap after all, Gouts.
Oh, really great lap by him. As you can see, Dinara 1-Up's fastest lap was around a second and a half slower than Envy's. So, good job, Envy. He really has put everything into that one lap.
12 drivers started this race and only 11 actually ended up finishing it. And with that, folks, we're done with race number 3 of Race to Zero Hour as it hits midnight here in India. We'll wrap it up and leave it here. Gouts, it's always a pleasure. We'll see you again next race.
Yes, Arthur.